everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Proton Pack Podcast. I'm Chris, and with me always is the wacko to my yakko, Tony. Say hey, Tone.
Hey, guys. Well, it's good to be back, and
I'd like 42 pizzas.
42 pizzas and a lot of... Yeah, you know, it's been a long time.
It's been a very long time. Yeah, you know, it's one of those things that, you know, I had my boys out for basically a month and a half, which makes it really hard to put this show together. And then, of course, the other thing is the whole coronavirus and, you know, not a lot of stories to compile together up for a pop culture show like this. But we do have a lot of stories that we have compiled for you just over time that, you know what, we are here with a brand new live show for you guys. But before we get into the show itself, why don't we go ahead and start with our shameless plugs?
Shameless plug time.
Tony's looking for the button.
Well, you know, I'm so used to just not having that. But, yeah, it's been a while. So, let's play this song here. Dust this off.
Putting the training wheels back on.
Yeah, I gotta get back on.
It's shameless plug time.
Within these hills that Juan Valdez and his trusty goat gather coffee beans every morning.
All right, so kicking off the shameless plugs as we do each and every time. Let's see, it's nope, over on that side. We're talking Rough Riders. Roughriders.org is my dog rescue nonprofit. It is a 501c3. We go out and pick up dogs from the rural kill shelters. Not really fair to call them kill shelters, but you know, it's just a place where they go in. They've got limited time, so we pull them out. We transport them back to the Reno area, work with our local shelters, local rescues here, find them homes, give them a second chance at life. We're always raising money. We're always looking for help there. So when you get a chance, head over to roughriders.org. Check things out there, or you can go over to our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/roughriderssaves. Now, Tony, you do a thing each and every week. In fact, you just finished doing what we're talking about, a little shameless plug here. Why don't you tell everybody about it?
Yeah, so I've always been, for the longest time, I've been helping our buddy Jimmy Jones do the movie segment for Pop Culture Kaboom. You can listen to it on 95.5 KMVC. Really, if you just go to kmvc.org, you can chime in anywhere you're at and you can listen to it. It's the number one rated show on KNVC in Carson City Community Radio. Like I said, I do the movie segment. It's been kind of tough lately because, you know, with the COVID and everything, just haven't been able to do the movies and stuff. So, yeah, but we're still finding people are still releasing things, and there's a lot of really crappy trailers out there. So
a lot of the independents, the B-sides, those sorts of things.
Yeah, you know, but one cool thing, though, is there's been a lot more Netflix movies. Like over the last month, there's the Charlize Theron, The Old Guard. Well, there's a new one that we actually talked about tonight, and it's got Jamie Foxx in it. And
the superhero one.
Levitt. Yeah, the superhero flick, which is called, I just didn't have my notes for it right here. It's called I don't know what it's called. The screen deleted. It's like the power. It's something about the Power Stones. It's this pill they take, and they have superpowers for 5 minutes. It looks really good.
That's cool.
So there's some. I never heard of it until I did the trailers this week.
Very cool. And so Pop Culture Kaboom is 6 to 8 Pacific Standard Time every day. I mean, every Sunday.
7 to 9 Pacific Standard Time.
7 to 9.
7 to 9, yeah. Because then here in the mountain time, it starts at 8 o'clock here, and it goes until 10. So yeah, 7 to 9 Pacific.
Fair enough. Yeah, so
it's been
folks,
a while, man.
Go check it out, Pop Culture Kaboom with our friend Jimmy Jones. And then finally with our shameless plugs, Tony and I, if you guys don't know, do a daily show. It's called the Christian Phoenix Radio Show, part of America Matters Media. And it is a 2-hour morning show, goes from 8 to 10 Pacific time every morning. And we talk about a little bit of this, a little bit about that. We've got recurring segments. And overall, it's just a fun, goofy sort of, as we call it, your daily dose of laughs and levity. So that way, we're not talking about anything hard-hitting, any major coronavirus, political, religious. That's not us. We're just having fun. And
we are having, it's a good time. And
It
it's
is.
a show, like, it is so hard not to say the word shit. So I'm just going to get that out here. I can say shit on this show
yes.
and not get fined. So I've done it on my other 2 radio shows. I've slipped the S word.
Yep.
I'm good about everything else, but I just felt like getting that out for this one. But it is a lot of fun. We got a lot of good followers, a lot of good stuff, and we haven't had them in a while, but we have a really funny third host on there too. So.
Yes, yeah. So well worth checking out. Folks can head over to facebook.com/Christian Phoenix Radio. That's Christian with a K, Phoenix with an F, radio, of course, with an R, as we say in every show. Or you can head over to americamatters.us and listen to it live there. And, we live stream just the same way we do here. And so we're just about everywhere. But that does it for our shameless plugs. Let's get into this episode of the Proton Pack Podcast, as we do. Well, I would say each and every week, but we've been out for a while, so
It's
each
been a while,
episode,
so we're going to roll with TVs, right?
we're going into the TV news.
Is this how we do this thing?
Bazinga!
The cream of the crop!
Thanks, baby.
Let's go, Puck.
Excellent.
Hail to the king, baby.
Hail to the king, baby. All right, Tony, you do it better than I do with this first story. Oh, the very first words of the story. Do it as the pirate.
Yarr, me matey. Because SpongeBob be coming back there, ye lover.
Do you not have the story pulled up?
I do. You want me to read it?
What are the...
I'll read this one.
What's the very first line there, Tone?
Oh, are you ready, kids?
That's what I was waiting
Is that what you're
for.
looking? I didn't know. I had the headline up. I'm
Yes.
trying to think, obviously on the Phoenix, we take turns. I got stuff I read usually on here. I'm just the funny dude. But I'm more than happy to read and Filippo a few things. So.
I just wanted the pirate voice. With
Are you ready, kids? Yarr!
All right, so as Tony alluded to, Camp Coral, a previously announced prequel to the classic SpongeBob SquarePants cartoon, will premiere on CBS All Access early next year. Also, CBS All Access is relaunching itself in 2021. So Viacom CBS announced that Camp Coral, the SpongeBob movie Sponge on the Run, Sponge on the Run.
Did you say Camp Coral?
I did. Tony's buttons are a little delayed, but that's okay.
They're delayed, yeah. Camp.
The CGI feature film and a slew of popular library titles will be making their way to the streaming service in the future. Specific release dates for the 2 SpongeBob titles are currently unavailable, but per Viacom CBS's synopsis, Camp Coral and will follow the 10-year-old SpongeBob SquarePants and his pals during summer sleepaway camp, where they spend their time building underwater campfires, catching wild jellyfish, and swimming in Lake Yucky Muck at the craziest camp in the kelp forest, Camp Coral.
Yarr. Camp Yucky Muck. Yarr.
Camp Coral. Every time I say it, it makes me think. Camp Coral marks the first TV spin-off in the SpongeBob franchise, which includes 12 seasons and 2 films. A variety of Viacom CBS-owned titles were added to the streaming service earlier today. This was well in advance, including the BET shows Real Husbands of Hollywood, Hit the
I
Floor,
can't wait.
and Single Ladies, Comedy Central's Chappelle Show, and Reno 911, Nickelodeon's Avatar: The Last Airbender, The Legend of Korra, Danny Phantom, and SpongeBob SquarePants, among others. The streaming service has also begun to roll out a new user interface Features such as a curated homepage, and new content categories. Viacom CBS referred to the title announcements and interface changes as steps towards an early 2021 rebranding, though it's unclear on what other things that could entail. Now, Tony, do you have CBS All Access?
I do not. We did. My sister got it for a while, like during Big Bang Theory when that was still on, and we checked it out that way. But just there wasn't a lot of shows. Now, when you start to think of the Viacom Nickelodeon deals and all the franchises that might make it a little more enticing.
Yeah.
It builds that library for sure. Definitely great for kids. I mean, you're pushing it when you got the Real Husbands of Hollywood and Hit the Floor and Single Ladies. I mean, that's not kind of the stuff you really want, I would imagine. But nonetheless, it's and it's tough too because it's not like CBS will have access to Big Bang anymore because that's on HBO Max. So, it's like the streaming services are great to have, but you really got to decide what has the best stuff for you. So
yeah, and CBS All Access, I picked it up during the last football season, which was great because I was able to catch certain NFL games, but I hadn't canceled the service, so I still have it. I still pay for it. Can't tell you the last time I watched it. And they've got great shows. They've got Picard, the new Star Trek series as well. Star Trek. Somebody's going to yell at me.
The animated one?
Well, there's the animated one, but the one that they really launched the service with.
It's okay. I'll find it for you.
Star Trek something or other.
It's Rise of the Skywalker.
Yeah, that's the one.
There you go.
People are screaming at us right now. But in any case...
Why don't you... It's Star Trek Lower Decks is the cartoon.
That's the cartoon.
And then, Strange New Worlds.
Nope, not that one.
That's what it says.
No, it's the one that they launched with...
Picard.
Not Picard. Discovery. That's what I was looking for. They've got a lot of Star Trek on there. Wow.
They do. Yeah, they got to jam that out, man.
Yeah. But needless to say, once I actually remember to cancel it, I probably will. The only other thing is, of their old CBS titles, they don't have a lot of things. Like you said, Big Bang Theory is going away. Tried looking for Rules of Engagement. That's not on there.
Oh, that was a great show.
That was a great show. But
I really like that one.
Yeah, if you're into the old folks CBS shows, they've got all the NCIS, CSIs, all of those as well.
We got Matlock.
So that's what you can expect coming to CBS if that's up your alley. Now let's move on over to another streaming service, Hulu, bringing back a old favorite of ours, and now, of course, we alluded to it in the beginning of the show. Well, Hulu has revealed the release date for its revival of the beloved 1990s cartoon Animaniacs. The antics begin on November 20th. So we don't have too far to wait. It's still coming this year. It's been 22 years since the final 99th episode of Animaniacs. Yeah, right. But 2020 sees the return of the popular show. Quote, Hulu, Amblin Television, and Warner Brothers Animation are proud to unveil a brand new version of the iconic family-friendly cartoon series for the whole family, as the Warner siblings Yakko and Wacko and their Warner sister Dot have a great time wreaking havoc and mayhem in the lives of everyone they meet, said Hulu in a statement. Now, Yakko, Wacko, and Dot are not the only characters returning for the revival, though. The show wouldn't be complete without Pinky and the Brain, the two lab mice on a quest to take over the world. They'll be scheming in all 13 of the new episodes. Let's see. As with the original run, Steven Spielberg returns as executive producer of the series, and the 13 Animaniacs episodes being released in November are just the start. Hulu has confirmed that the show will return for a second 13-episode season in 2021. The revival itself reportedly came out because of a surge of popularity for Animaniacs on Netflix. So I was a big fan of the Animaniacs, back when it came out in the 1990s. It was a fun show to turn on when I got home from school, started doing homework, and of course, you could always count on them for a good laugh or two.
Oh, absolutely. It was that and Tiny Toon Adventures. Those were like the And then you got Batman the Animated Series. That seemed to be the afternoon after school hour or hours. Because it was basically an hour and a half, right? Because you had a half hour of one, half hour of the other. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so those were always fun to watch, and of course, those were well after the whole Disney afternoon lineup, which were in the later 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
All right, let's move from Hulu over to Disney Plus. Ron Howard
streaming.
There is a lot of streaming, but that's the way TV's going.
Streams, yeah, well, I like it.
So Ron Howard says that the new Willow Disney Plus series remains in active development. Starring Warwick Davis, and obviously you can go back and watch a remastered high-def version of the movie, which definitely holds up well. But it starred Warwick Davis as the titular character, and the film finds the young farmer coming across Alora Dannon, an infant who is prophesized to bring the downfall of the evil queen Bavmorda. Teaming up with the mercenary swordsman Mad Mardigan, played by Val Kilmer, Willow attempts to keep Alora from the clutches of Bavmorda's legions. It's full of magic, adventure, and it's just a hell of a lot of fun. Now, Willow wasn't exactly a big success upon its release, but over the years, it's become something of a cult classic, and rumors of a sequel pop up every so often. Last year, Willow director Ron Howard announced that development was underway on a sequel series destined for the Disney Plus streaming service. While speaking with Andy Cohen on a Sirius XM show, Howard said that the series is still in active development, and he's very optimistic about it. He said, "I was in a 2-hour story meeting last night. The writer John Kasdan is leading the charge. They have a great group of writers, and it's in very active development. The scripts are going great, so they have to get through the season and the budget, and so forth. There's no green light there yet, but I'm very optimistic about it. I love Kasdan's take on it." So, Tony, I think we're going to see a Willow series more than likely. Would you expect to see Val Kilmer come back?
No, not in the shape he's in. I just don't see that happening. Now, he did have good news this last week. It seems like his cancer treatment's going well, and I know he's not one to really go out in public. I know when we did the Reno Pop Culture Con, he never saw him. He was like a couple booths from us, and never saw him at all.
Well, it's certainly good news. I mean, obviously, he's been struggling. He had throat cancer. He hasn't looked great, but anything that gets him back up and around, at least to the con circuit, I don't think we'll ever really see him act again.
No, I don't see him. Aside from just little bits and pieces, he was in Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
That's right.
Like he was Chronic, right?
Yeah.
It was Blunt Man. Chronic was the Jay character.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was Blunt Man in it. Yeah.
But yeah, even that was just a small cameo, nothing major.
No, nothing major. No. And he is, from what I hear, he's going to be in Top Gun Maverick, which don't know in what capacity, but I did hear he was going to be in that. Now, we don't, unfortunately, get to watch that for a while. I think it's July of next year. It got delayed. It was supposed to be June of this year. Didn't happen.
Yep.
December didn't happen. Now there. So, but yeah, he's supposed to be in it. And, I don't foresee him coming back for Willow.
No, probably not. Maybe in a sort of a guest little cameo spot, but nothing major. Though I did hear that Warwick Davis will have a fairly major role in it. Obviously, the show is titled after him, so.
Yeah. He looks pretty much the same, so it could be done.
He's getting up there in age, but you know what? He could still pull it out. But in any case, so we'll update you guys on anything we hear more about the Willow series streaming on Disney Plus. Now it's that point in time that normally we would go into the box office report, but since there is no box office, there's no box office report. Something we have been doing in past episodes is something that we like to call Behind the Streams, where we talk about a show, something that maybe people aren't watching on any one of the streaming services, bring it to light, and maybe turn you guys onto it. Tony, did we have music for that? I forget.
Yeah, it used to be that one that we do the
entertainment news,
but we're going to do this. So this should work if it's not delayed for too long.
And we're waiting.
Okay, maybe.
There it is.
It'll work for today. That was, really, that was a little long, so I just hit the first button to end it.
Was
But
that
yeah, it's the streaming.
was that the X-Men theme?
Yeah, and it just kept going. Though.
Oh, okay.
It was supposed to stop, but it
Yeah,
didn't.
that's all right.
Yeah, because
Well,
normally we do a lot shorter version of intro, but not that one.
yeah, that's all right. So not before, but for Behind the Streams, the show that I wanted to bring up this week is something that was released last Friday, something I've been looking forward to, and it is a new series of Transformers called Transformers War for Cybertron, subtitled Siege, because they're doing a trilogy series based on the toy line that's out right now. So in any case, I was looking forward to it. The animation looked stellar. It looked fantastic. Obviously, it's a prequel series. It's, the war between the Autobots and the Decepticons before they make their way to Earth from the G1 series that you know and love. Now, in watching it, I think I'm 4 episodes in. Each episode's about 25 minutes long, so about the length of an average half hour.
So it's a small dosage, yeah.
It is. The animation is fantastic. I have a couple problems with it. One, the voice acting. I halfway expected, obviously, before I saw the trailer, that you'd get the voices of Frank Welker and Peter Cullen back to do, the iconic voices of Optimus Prime and Megatron. And the voice actors you have doing it, and I couldn't even tell you who they are at this point, they try to do their best impressions of Peter Cullen and Frank Welker, but they miss the mark a little bit. So either one, make it your own, or two, just get the original voice actors to do it, but don't do an impression of the voice actors who do it. The second thing is the story is a little bit slower than I expected. You expect something sort of fast-paced, something in a world now where, we expect a lot of sort of twists and turns and really developed storylines. Whereas this seems a little more close to G1, where, yeah, they've got sort of an overall arcing storyline, but for the most part, they look for just reasons to have some dialogue and then put the characters into battle and then have some more dialogue and then a little more battle and then try to push the story a little bit further from there. But it's not as gripping as I wanted it to be. Now, with that being said, I'm a huge Transformers fan. I'm very picky about, the content. Obviously, the Michael Bay stuff was, for the most part, pretty much garbage. But the last version of Transformers, the CGI TV show, Transformers Prime, that was fantastic. Had, obviously, the original voice actors, but had a wonderful storyline. I'm hoping this picks up a little bit and helps complement some of the animation style that they're doing pretty right in this.
Yeah, I watched one episode of it, and I thought it was okay. It wasn't, like you said, it was a little slow for me. And I agree with you. If you're going to do, I hate when they do, reboots of shows we like, and then they come back with people just trying to be like the person that preceded them. It's like, just be yourself. Like,
yeah, make it your own.
I did cheat and I did look at the list and I didn't recognize a single voice actor on that, which is fine. They got to start somewhere. I think it's, it's good, but same thing. You don't need to be like that, like come up with your own. It's flattering, but when you're just, like you're a diehard Transformer fan, it takes away from it. And sometimes that is the case. It's going to be that way when the Simpsons come back. If they use any characters now that won't be voiced by Hank Azaria or Harry Shearer, right?
Right.
Is that his name?
That is, yeah.
He does. So they each do so many characters, but if they're not what the ethnicity is of that character, they're not going to do it no more. So to me, that's going to be somebody else that's going to try to have to fill that role. So after 30 years of hearing one voice, it's going to be very hard to buy into the next voice.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I'm with you, man. The Transformers show, happy to see it on there, but it wasn't nothing gripping. So
Yeah. So
I'm not saying I won't watch it. I just
telling them do better, do a little bit better.
No. Yeah. Well, and my problem is like, so for me to have like a segment, like of what am I watching in this downtime, and to be honest, between working evenings, doing the Phoenix radio show, doing Pop Culture Kaboom, and once in a while getting to do our Proton Pack, I honestly haven't had a lot of time to watch shows. But in between, I've seen things like, I finished up watching The Last Dance because they released that on Netflix before it was on ESPN. But now that's on Netflix. Excellent documentary. It's 10 episodes. I got to finish watching that.
And for people who don't know, it's the Michael Jordan documentary.
Yeah, it's so good. I'm trying to think what else. Lacey chimed in she said she's watching Umbrella Academy. Season 2 was amazing. She watched it twice. Yellowstone, she mentioned, is a good show.
Mm-hmm.
They all sound good. There's so many great shows. And then, when I'm doing the radio shows where I'm prepping, I got a TV right here, and I've been putting on a lot of background noise. So I've restarted How I Met Your Mother. That's been on in the background. Friends. I've watched a couple of recommended Netflix shows from my friends, and the Epstein thing. It was a little weird and creepy.
A little creepy, yeah.
Yeah, a little on the too much for me kind of thing. a lot of sickos out there. So, yeah. But Netflix has got some really cool documentaries out there, and then I've watched a lot of YouTube. So to recommend anything for you guys, I would listen to a couple of like Lacey's recommendations. Now's a real good time to get caught up on a lot of shows too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind going back and watching Mandalorian. Just not even a lot of like good movies. I can't tell you I've watched anything all that great lately. So
well,
kind of sad. Yeah.
And it's part of the reason we haven't done a Proton Pack podcast show in a while. There's not a lot out there. It's just recently that these things have been starting to roll out a little bit. So
yeah, I will say, in this room, I did put up, so I have Xfinity, and they gave me a free little internet box thing that has apps. Well, this TV in this room doesn't have apps built in like the other TVs do. So I plugged it in, tried it. It's wonky, but it does stream well. It came with the Peacock, and, I've kind of knocked the Peacock because I'm like, it's another streaming service. I get it free with my Xfinity internet, and I got to tell you, there's a lot of stuff on there.
Really?
There is. You can watch all the 2.5 Men. You can watch old shows like Cheers, The
30
Office,
Rock,
Parks and Rec, 30 Rock, Saturday Night Live, The Tonight Show, all the Saved by the Bells. I ain't gonna lie, while I was doing a lot of my stuff today, I actually went down a rabbit hole and got through 4 episodes of the college years of Saved by the Bell. So
interesting. All right.
Yeah, kind of weird, but the Peacock is surprisingly not bad.
Yeah, so there's a lot out there. It's just, a matter of finding what's good. And then, obviously now that we are sort of back in the swing of things, we'll be able to catch up on a little bit more. That way, on the next episode, we'll have something a little bit newer to bring you on behind the streams. But
like Lacey had chimed in, Yellowstone, Umbrella Academy. If there's other shows that Christian and I should be watching, let us know on our page, chime in. Leave a message on the live stream, whatever,
Yep.
Always looking for good shows. And that's a problem too. I got to get a show that hooks me.
Right.
Like I try to watch The Order on Netflix, which is kind of like a teeny bop vampire type thing.
Not so much.
I made it through a few.
All right. Fair enough.
If it doesn't grip me, I won't go back to it for a while.
Yeah. All right. Well, folks, that does it for Behind the Streams. Now, we will sort of segue into something else that we've been doing, new Blu-ray releases. So those of you who like to collect the home video, we do have those. Now, I forget, did we have a soundbite for this segment?
Sure. Sounds familiar if it works.
If it plays.
Oh my gosh.
There we go.
Yeah.
And I turned Tony onto a new soundboard that hopefully will cut down on some of the delays for the sound bites on his end. But you know what? It's a live show. It's all good.
It's all good. Well, it also didn't help on doing it off of the iPad onto there.
Gotcha.
So it's a little on the delay skis, but nonetheless, it's kind of working. So
yeah. So new Blu-ray releases. As we said, there's not a whole lot coming out, but there are a few that are being released this upcoming Tuesday, August 11th. Starting off with a IFC Films horror movie called The Wretched. Now, I assume that this is something that you probably at least watched the trailer to and covered on Pop Culture Kaboom.
I have, yep.
Can you tell us anything about this movie?
Other than it is wretched? Let's see. Oh, yeah. So when I watched this trailer, I just had to get a quick little synopsis to trigger. So what happens is there's these kids, their dad and the new girlfriend go up to this mountain cabin, and then the dad has to go do it. He works somewhere and he has to go work, and they're stuck with the girlfriend. Well, the girlfriend, it's her cabin that she used to go to as a kid, and there was a monster that used to terrorize her and her sister, and now it's back, and it's now terrorizing her again now with the kids, and it's up to her to save the two kids as this demonic force goes after them during a big snowstorm.
Okay. Did it look?
Yeah, it looked. I gave it I think a so-so.
Okay.
On the pop culture rating, which means like it wasn't like something I'd go to the theaters for, but on demand streaming, not too bad.
Might be worth a check out.
Probably not, but if I had some time, would I stream it? Sure.
All right, fair enough. Another movie coming out on Blu-ray is How to Build a Girl. Couldn't tell you anything about that.
No, we did not cover that, but I'll give that one of these based on the cover of it.
You've got a new Dakota Johnson movie called The High Note. Again, have no idea. Apparently, Ice Cube's in it.
That's okay. I'm going to give that one a...
How about no?
Yeah.
There is I assume, Chinese language movie called Lucky Grandma.
Oh, Lucky Grandma, be very, very good. I get the movie on the Blu-ray, then we go down to the Saigon Grill. We have a little barbecue. Oh, very good. Lucky Grandma. Good for you and everybody involved. But for me, I have to say...
How about no?
Probably not. Yeah. And then the complete seventh season. As I say on the Christian Phoenix radio show, words are hard.
Words are very hard.
So anyway, the complete seventh season of The Blacklist, starring James Spader, or Ultron for you comic and geeky nerdy guys like us.
Ultron.
Oh, that reminds me of another movie that we tried to go back and watch, and we had to 20-minute rule it, was The Watcher with Keanu Reeves and James Spader.
Oh, okay. Terrible, huh?
Not a good movie.
Not excellent. Whoa.
No, not excellent.
Instead, it was definitely very, very crappy. I don't have a button for that. So.
I know Tony's fishing for the buttons, but...
I was, but it didn't go. So it's okay.
Oh, well. All right. Well, folks, that does it for the Blu-ray releases. Let's move on to our movie news. Hopefully, Tony does have the button ready for that little feature that we got. There we go.
Are you the Keymaster?
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
We came, we saw, we kicked his ass.
This baby hits 88 miles per hour. They're gonna see some serious shit.
And actually,
you can't. Yeah, actually cusses in that one.
I know.
You can't say that. You can't say that on the radio, you son of a beep.
Boy, your thing is really delayed today.
Yeah, it's very delayed.
But that Doc Brown quote actually leads us to our first story in movie news, and it sort of bridges the gap a little bit with what we were talking about in Blu-ray releases. So there is a new Back to the Future trilogy 4K Blu-ray set that comes with a working tiny hoverboard. Yep, you heard me correctly. A working hoverboard. So,
1.21 gigawatts!
the Back to the Future movies are timeless classics in spite of the fact the most popular movie in the series, Part 2, is woefully outdated. I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. They got a lot of stuff right.
Since when did you become the physical type?
We never did get the flying cars, self-lacing shoes, and the hoverboard 2015 future promised to us in the second movie, but that doesn't matter. The 2015 Back to the Future 2 seems charming and hopeful, and even as it moves further into the past each day. Now, the 35th anniversary sets for the Back to the Future trilogy present them in 4K for the first time, with both the PS5 and the Xbox Series X supporting 4K Blu-ray disc playback in models with optical media drive. There's really no reason why you shouldn't pick up this amazing trilogy set. Now, if you don't plan on buying either of those, it's still probably worth getting the rest of the set since it includes the Blu-ray and digital copies of all three films. The Steelbook edition is quite excellent too, so if you're into Steelbook collecting, it's a no-brainer. Now, no matter which edition you decide to pick up for pre-order, Amazon, see, I'm reading through this. In essence, the only thing I'm really excited about is the hoverboard. It's a little magnetic base hoverboard that, it has a little thing that it sits on, it slides back and forth. Yeah, you can't ride it in real life, but that's probably the most exciting part of it, considering most of us already have some sort of version of the Back to the Future trilogy.
Right. And for me, too, I was kind of just thinking this, I wish if you owned like the, for Voodoo example, that's where I have a lot of that's where all my digital copies go to. And it's like if you already own the one version of the movie, you should be able to upgrade it. Like if you want 4K, there should be like a small up fee charge. But you have to buy the whole thing again just for the 4K, and it gets pricey. A good example, you have to wait for the deals. Like last week, they ran a massive Marvel deals, and the thing with that is, I was just told I'm quiet. You can't hear me. So hopefully you guys can hear me. Hopefully you can. I don't know. It could be there's a fan going on, and I'm really sorry. It's 100 degrees in here, so that damn thing is going. I don't care. It's hot as hell in here. But what I was saying is, I was trying to speak up. They had the Marvel movie, so I ended up buying. I didn't have all of the Iron Man on digital. I had just Iron Man 2, I think. But, it was like for $20, you could get all three of them in 4K. So then I was just like, well, that's a good deal. But with Back to the Future, as much as I am a little bit better, okay, I'm being told that's better. So I don't know what happened with that, but there you go. Lost my train of thought with that whole thing. But Back to the Future. It gets expensive to have to buy these things again just for the quality.
Not only that, but you need the things to be able to play them. You need the 4K TV. You need the 4K player. It's more than just getting the new version of the movie.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I got lucky and I got a good deal. I have a 4K TV, and the Xbox and the PlayStation is definitely, sorry, I can't multitask tonight. Nonetheless, I have 4K. It works great. Blah, 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 blah.
All right, moving on. We were talking Keanu Reeves in The Watcher. Not good, but what Keanu Reeves is good in is the John Wick series. And so John Wick 5 has been announced and will film back-to-back with the fourth movie starting early 2021. Now, Lionsgate CEO John Feltheimer, that's a mouthful to say, says both films are in the scripting stage, and they're hoped to having John Wick 4 ready for Memorial Day weekend in 2022. He said, we're also busy preparing scripts for the next two installments of our John Wick action franchise, with John Wick 4 slated to hit theaters Memorial Weekend 2022. We hope to shoot both John Wick 4 and 5 back-to-back when Keanu becomes available early next year. Now, Keanu Reeves was filming the fourth Matrix movie in Germany when production was shut down in March, although reports say that the actors are now back to filming. The John Wick universe continues to grow larger with the Continental TV series that's still on the way. It was announced earlier this year that the series will premiere after the fourth movie, but that was before John Wick 4 was pushed from 2021 to 2022. I'm looking forward to any John Wick project, whether it's the fourth movie, the Continental TV series. I love those movies.
Oh, absolutely. They just get better and better with each one, and I'm excited that they're going to do a fourth and just fifth. Like Keanu Reeves said that he would keep doing it as long as people want to watch it, and obviously there's still a high demand, and I enjoy it. Let us know what you guys think.
Yeah, the poor guy won't get to retire or spend time with his dog, but
No.
as long as they keep making movies, I'll keep watching them.
Yeah, that's it's such a good action series too. So violent and just well done. I like it.
Yeah, fun to watch. Speaking of movies that have been pushed back, well, Mulan is now set to skip theaters altogether, but will be released on Disney Plus in September. There's a caveat to that. So Disney announced in an investor's call Tuesday that they will forgo a domestic theatrical release of their live-action retelling of Mulan in favor of a digital debut on Disney Plus on September 4th, 2020. Internationally, the film will open in cinemas in regions that don't yet have Disney Plus. Now, Mulan will premiere on Disney Plus on September 4th for a premium price of $29
million.
Right. $29.99.
Oh.
Yeah. So apparently, once Disney Plus subscribers pay that premium fee for the film, that it will remain in their library for the duration of the subscription to the streaming service. So it's not like the premium video on demand right now, where you get to rent it once. You have it for 24 hours, so you can watch it as many times as you want within 24 hours, and then you lose it. At least the good news here is that when you get it, it'll stay in your queue or in your ability to watch it from then on. The rest of us...
Well, that's plus. It's kind of like owning it, but not.
Yeah. The rest of us who don't pay the $29.99 won't get to see it until later on. Now, they don't say how long that will be following that. Obviously, the main reason is they want people to pay $29.99. But I don't know. I was looking forward to the movie. I may have gone to the theater to see it, but I'm not shelling out $30 to watch it on Disney Plus.
No, definitely not. I can understand what they're trying to do. I could see them doing like $15 would be fair, $20. That you could kind of justify a family price for that. $30 is steep.
It is.
It's really steep.
And I get the value added of having it, there available to you after that. But at the same time, hell, I'm just going to wait and watch it later on. I'm not chomping at the bit to see it right when it comes out.
No, I don't even know if I could do that if Black Widow ended up being that way.
Right.
That'd be steep.
Ooh, yeah, that's a tough call.
That would be a tough one. Like, I'd have to think about it.
Yeah. But for those of you who do want to see it, at least you know when.
You kind of sweet the deal knowing that you can keep it in the queue. That's probably not so bad. It's kind of like owning it.
Yeah, that makes sense. But September 4th. So if you are really looking forward to it, you can shell out $30 to see it starting then. Well, let's move from one reboot to another reboot. Seth Rogen's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reboot will attempt to hone in on the teenage elements of the character.
What?
Yep. Paramount and Nickelodeon announced the CG animated TMNT movie reboot last month, and Rogen, who is producing, recently told Collider that the movie will use the teenage aspects of it as a jumping off point. He said the movie will make sure to hone in on that element, but that it won't disregard the Mutant Ninja Turtles part. He's quoted as saying, as a lifelong fan of Ninja Turtles, weirdly the teenage part of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was always the part that stuck out to me the most. And as someone who loves the teenage movies, or loves teenage movies, and who's made a lot of teenage movies, and who literally got their start in the entire profession by writing a teenage movie, the idea of kind of honing in on that element was really exciting to us. I mean, not disregarding the rest.
Words are hard.
They are, but really using that as just kind of a jumping off point for the film. So, Seth Rogen is obviously behind it. I feel that he'll probably do it a lot of justice, hearkening back to what we grew up with, because he is of sort of that same age category. But he's right. He made a living off of, these sort of raunchy teenage comedies, and I think it'll be a good jumping off point for them.
Well, I think it's going to be good. Now, this also depends on what they look like. The look is everything.
Yeah. And if
those live action ones, they weren't terrible. Like, they actually weren't that bad of movies. The second one was Out of the Shadows. That one was a little bit better than the original.
Yeah.
But I hated the look of them. Hated. I would have taken the Muppet stuff from the early 90s over that crap that we got with the CGI and Michael Bay.
Yeah.
But overall, I think it's in good hands with Seth Rogen. I think you're going to always do series. The best way is when you're a true fan of the series. And I think that's a good thing. It's not a bunch of Hollywood writers just sitting in there kind of like, oh, well, maybe we should do this. Or, like Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was trying to fit with too much of the Me Too movements and all this other stuff going on. And it just...
Right. Introducing, new villains that nobody's, familiar with. Hopefully this one sticks with, Rocksteady, Bebop, Shredder, Baxter Stockman.
What they should have just done with that at that point is just you created everything else. Why didn't you just create new characters? Why wasn't it just its own show?
Yeah.
Probably would have done better.
Yep. But all that goes to say that as we get more information as it comes out, we will let you guys know. Hopefully we'll get a trailer here shortly. The nice thing is it's not something that they have to go and film in live action. So, animation seems to be a thing that's being moved along a little bit quicker than anything else, given the age that we're living in.
Yeah, we have Lacey. She's chimed in and she told me she could do it for Ghostbusters.
Oh.
I'm taking could you direct Ghostbusters and make it better? Is that what you're saying, Lace?
Oh, no. She's probably talking about the premium video on demand.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, that's what it is. I was like, what? Could you direct it? I mean, that's cool if you could. I'd watch it. You're my friend. I would trust it. But yeah, I would. $30 to watch Ghostbusters Afterlife. I
don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
I probably would, but I really want to see it in theaters.
The paying $29.99. Geez, Tony, keep up. I'm a little slow, okay? I don't know what it is. I feel run down today, so.
That's all right. All right, let's move on from movies to something I know we definitely don't have a theme for. We're talking toys. Yeah, every once in a while we'll cover toys on here. In this case, games.
Here, I have a Toy Story button. That's all I got.
Oh, shut up.
That was rude, Woody. That's rude.
All right. What we are talking about is a new card game from Funko called Gremlins Holiday Havoc, which is... So it seems that Funko, of Funko Pop fame, has created an officially licensed Gremlins card game called Gremlins Holiday Havoc, and it'll be available September 30th. You can pre-order it now. The official description, the Gremlins have gone from cute Christmas gift pets to mini monsters causing havoc around town, and you must stop them. Flip over the cards to reveal favorite creatures from the classic movie. If you see a match, pounce fast, score, but beware, other players are on the prowl. Whatever you do, don't get them wet, or your chance of losing multiplies. Gotcha. All right, it includes
That's a good pun there.
Yep. Includes fast-paced card-slapping action, is frenetic fun for the whole family. Card illustrations feature 10 different gremlin images plus the iconic gizmo. Contains 5 location cards inspired by the movie, including Dory's Tavern. Game contents, 50 gremlin cards, 5 gizmo cards, 4 multiply cards, 5 location cards, 1 sunrise card, and instructions. It is for ages 8 and up, for 3 to 5 players, and a 15-minute long gameplay. You can't do 2 players? That's a little strange. It is strange that you have to have 3 players minimum to play this.
Yeah, and that's kind of tough because do you often have 3 people?
Right. It's not like Jesse and I could sit down and play it. It's, we need a third.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I like Gremlins, but I have nightmares, man. Stripes, there's that image of Stripe with his gun.
Ooh. Well, even worse is him popping out of the fountain, all bones, and that was scary. That's a movie that I've gone back and recently rewatched, and it holds up. Yeah, there are some cheesy parts, but
there's cheesy.
Yeah, the double-breasted suits. All right.
Kevin Kline's lucky, man. Phoebe Cates was hot.
Yeah, she still is too. We had to look her up. Phoebe Cates in 2019, 2020, and
what was it? June we went back and watched that.
I think so.
You kind of got me on the kick this summer. This summer I've watched a lot of older movies, and I keep telling myself, I'm like, oh, you should write a review and see if it still holds up. But then in comes I don't have a lot of time. Then I doze off and kind of forget about it.
All right. Well, tell you what, let's move on to the next one so that way you don't doze off. But sticking with toys, the Lego Nintendo Lego Nintendo Entertainment System, the NES system, is now available. 80s and 90s kids with discretionary income will want to take a look at this. The Lego Nintendo Entertainment System is now available for purchase from the Lego store for only $229.99. I know. It's not cheap, but this is an intricate set that can bring back childhood memories of sitting in the glow of a CRT television, NES controller in hand. Can you really put a price on that? Well, it turns out you can at $229.99. The set is currently exclusive to the Lego store. Word is that next year it will go out to other retailers. Now, ringing in at 2,646 pieces, this set has all kinds of bells and whistles. It includes, I've got an ant crawling on me. Wow. It includes a buildable,
Ant-Man.
Right?
Him.
A buildable NES controller with a working cartridge tray and lid, as well as, it says a controller. Oh, buildable NES console. Help if I actually read it correctly. You'll also build a Super Mario Brothers cartridge, and it even inserts into the block-constructed console. Finally, there is a cathode ray tube television that has a crank on the side. Turn the crank, and a portion of Super Mario Brothers World 1-1 scrolls by. And if you pick up the Lego Super Mario Adventure Starter Course, you can place the Mario figure from that set into a slot on top of the TV. The figure will then play the Mario theme and react to on-screen enemies as you scroll on by.
Hey, when you die, does it do this? That was actually the game over part, but
I don't know.
All I know is it looks freaking cool, man. I can't justify dropping $229 on it. That's too much. But this thing is really cool. I mean, just to build this thing. I mean, but the fact that you can't really play it, it's just a cool conversation piece. It's kind of like if you won the lottery, which, by the way, wink, wink, nod, nod. If you're watching and you tune into the Phoenix show tomorrow, that is the call-in topic, 9:15 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Shameless plug there. But if you have spare money, if you have spare money to just burn and go through, then this is an excellent buy. I'm a huge fan of Nintendo everything. I love to collect, but the only way I would get this is if I had gift cards or somebody got it for me as a gift, or if I just really had just super disposable money that was just burning a hole in my pocket, which
we don't.
So
yep.
So I'm gonna have to say no due to the price, but damn, does it look cool.
Right. I may put it on my Christmas list this year, but
yeah, I like the little crank. If you guys, you can't see this on here, but there's a old TV. If you picture back, if you grew up with the Nintendo and you had that big TV, it's kind of got a little crank thing on the side, and it takes Mario through as if you're playing Super Mario Brothers, which is really, really cool.
It is, yeah. Little on the interactive side.
Lacey said, hard to justify $220 for a Lego system when the original Nintendo was only $189.
Good point.
Touche.
Yes, but how much was the TV to play it? Because this includes that.
Oh, we were kids. We didn't have to buy it. Our parents did.
Right. All right, folks, we're moving on from toys into video games. Tony, get that button ready, because we are talking about video game news before we close out the show.
Come on,
maybe.
this is delayed. No.
Hey man, you wanna play some video games? Oh man! Keep on fire!
Good.
Okay. Oh.
So something that has been, a lot of stuff's been released, obviously, during the time of coronavirus when it comes to video games.
Uh-oh. You said the word.
I did. Let's see how delayed
I
it
guess what, Biz? Coronavirus.
All that goes to say that Microsoft has revealed a new version of its Microsoft Store for Xbox, which will start being released to insiders on August 5th and arrives this fall for all users. Shown off on the Xbox Wire blog, the store is a complete redesign and clearly a newer version of the store design that leaked in June, which should be twice as fast to load, easier to search, and safer. I don't know what it means by safer, but the post only mentions this store with regard to Xbox One, but we previously heard that the Xbox Series X will have the same UI as Xbox One, so we may well be looking at the next-gen store as well. And we'll post it up on our website that there's a bunch of screenshots. It looks a little bit easier to navigate. I don't exactly know what it means by safer, but if you are an Xbox One user or even looking at getting the Xbox Series X, yeah, it'll be a whole new look to it.
It's probably means safer for the younger, for the kids and stuff, so they don't end up with the adult content, like the violent games, the shoot 'em ups and stuff like that. The way it is now, it used to be. I used to love the user. How to get around on it was pretty cool. And they've updated, it's changed, but the current one is confusing. I fired it up last night and I played Xbox for the first time since, I don't know,
ever.
Yeah, I can't remember last time I did it. But yeah, it was kind of a pain in the ass to navigate the thing. So, but it was cool. I went back. What game did I go and play? It was that memorable. That game I played last night.
Well, it looks like come August, that'll change a little bit. Now, Tony, do you have the
Metal Slug?
Ooh, that's a fun game. Do you have the Game Pass or the Game Pass Ultimate?
Yeah, so they had a deal where you could, if you bought the Game Pass, they gave you it merged with your gold. So whatever you had on Xbox Live Gold would be doubled. So I have it, the Ultimate Game Pass through June of next year.
Oh, that's
so
pretty cool.
It's really cool because you do get access to a lot of games. That's how I was able to play Streets of Rage 4. I didn't buy it, but it was included. Red Dead Redemption 2's on there. The only downside is you got to download these games to your hard drive. Man, some of these games are so big. I have not jumped on the Call of Duty Warzone bandwagon. It's a free download. And I'm using air quotes free if you're listening to the podcast later. But that thing is 130 gigs or something like. It's too big, so I didn't even download it. It was too much.
Yeah.
That means I'd have to delete so many games off the freaking hard drive, and it's just forget it.
Well, hopefully this will take the place of that. I don't know if that's actually what it is, but Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscribers will be able to begin streaming select titles to their smartphones and tablets through Project xCloud starting on September 15th at no additional cost. In a new blog post, Xbox announced the release date for when its xCloud streaming service will be available to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscribers. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate is Microsoft's premier version of the video game subscription service, Game Pass, which includes both console and PC Game Pass libraries, Xbox Live Gold, and now xCloud. Project xCloud is Xbox's foray into cloud streaming, which will allow users to stream games directly to their smartphone or tablet. Furthermore, everything tied to your Xbox account, including achievements, friends, game saves, progression, player profile, and controller settings, will carry over with you on the new Xbox Game Pass app. Tony, is that something you're looking forward to?
I'll definitely try it out and let you guys know what I think of it. I've always wanted them to do when they announced that you could do the Game Pass on your PC, because I do have a PC laptop, and it'd be nice if the games you bought on live, so like the arcade games, like I wish you could take those and play them on the go, kind of like the Nintendo Switch.
Mhm.
It's kind of the joy of the Switch, right? You download it, you play it wherever you go, and I kind of think the same thing for the Xbox, but it's not the case. It's like the PC version, only certain games you can do on both, and so this one, looks pretty cool based on they're saying you can play Gears 5, Halo 5, Hellblade, Minecraft Dungeons, which I would not play, and Sea of Thieves, which is an army media pirate.
Oh, that sounds pretty cool, though. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of this will start coming together when the Series X actually comes out.
Yeah, I'll let you guys know. I'm hoping it's cool. I mean, they're definitely rolling out some new things before they launch the next Xbox this fall. So,
Well,
and that actually, before we did the show, that actually leaked. They leaked some images of it. So
oh, nice.
they have different models coming out that they didn't announce yet, but somebody leaked them. So.
Well, my guess is by the time we do our next Proton Pack podcast, we'll have some more details, and then from there,
Yes.
we'll be able to tell you guys about it. Now, speaking of things that are coming to Xbox as exclusives, this next one is exciting. If you were a kid like us, grew up in the NES age, this is a game that I actually got into a fist fight with my brother over when it came out, and is certainly regarded as one of the hardest video games ever. We're talking Battletoads. Yes, Battletoads is back.
Heck yeah.
And it's releasing quite soon now that the game from Delilah Studios and Rare has been given an August 20th release date. That's 11 days from now. A surprise announcement on Friday included the news of the release date and a trailer showing off the return of Battletoads while highlighting some of the features players can expect, like single-player and multiplayer components. The game supports up to 3 players at once, and it's coming to the Xbox One family of devices, will be an Xbox Game Pass game right when it launches, and the launch on the PC platform will include a Steam release. It's been a long time since Battletoads returned in their own property, despite making appearances in other games since their last mainline appearance. For those less familiar with the franchise, given how long it's been, Microsoft reintroduced players to the cast of the game, and the brawls players will encounter when Battletoads releases later in August. It includes the characters Zitz, Rash, and Pimple as they fight the Dark Queen and her abominable allies. Now, it is a platformer, side-scroller, beat-em-up game that, as I mentioned, the original was so hard to beat. Hopefully this one's not quite as difficult.
Yeah, and it's in an animated form. So if you guys know about like the DuckTales reboot, the animation looks very similar to that.
It does,
in my opinion, based on that, which looks great. I think it's done by Rare. They haven't done a game now. It's crazy that it came out of left field. It's just like, oh, by the way, we have this new Battletoads game that comes out in a few weeks. You want to play it? And even better is it's going to be on the Xbox Game Pass. So that means it's going to be like Streets of Rage 4 was for me, where I'll be able to play it day one without paying for it because I pay for the service. This is something I think it would behoove Microsoft and Rare to release on the Nintendo Switch. Like, I get it. Don't put it on the PlayStation.
Right.
Obviously, Xbox and PlayStation are they're true competitors. They're essentially, aside from exclusives, they're about the same type of machine, where the Switch is kind of its own deal. Sure, it tries to have some of those big name games that your PlayStation or your Xbox has, but this would be one of these, I think, awesome games if you could get it on the Nintendo Switch.
I agree. It's I traded my Xbox One in a long time ago for a PlayStation 4. Sort of bummed it's not coming cross-platform, but I do have a Switch as well, so with any luck, maybe I'll have to wait a little bit longer, but we'll see it on Switch before long.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't happen down the line. The Switch doesn't have a lot of games lined up coming out this year, and in fact, like Cuphead, that was a Microsoft game that's coming out. That came out on the Switch eventually, and surprisingly enough, that's actually just released on the PlayStation 4 as well. So it wasn't made by Microsoft, but it was an Xbox exclusive for a long time. So. Very cool to see, like this could happen. I mean, Rare is a Microsoft-owned developing studio. So, and them and Nintendo actually just released, if you're a Switch, you do the online, Donkey Kong Country just came out as the last month's Super Nintendo game.
Oh, such a fun game, too.
Yeah, and that was still clearly made by Rare, so.
Yep. All right, switching from Battletoads to DC superheroes, and in this case, super villains. I'm excited about this announcement. So, Batman Arkham series developer Rocksteady has announced that it is working on a Suicide Squad video game and will announce further details on August 22nd as part of DC Fandom, DC Comics digital fan event. A Suicide Squad game was first considered a possibility following the end of Batman Arkham Origins, developed by WB Games Montreal, which featured a post-credits scene in which Deathstroke is asked by Amanda Waller to join the Suicide Squad. In the years since Rocksteady shipped Batman Arkham Knight, there have been rumors suggesting the studio has been working on a Suicide Squad game, but no official word from the development team or publisher WB Games. Those rumors arose once again last month with the suggestion that the game's full name may be Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Although the poster art featured in the tweet above, and we'll post it on the thing, just says Suicide Squad. The logo, however, is arranged as a crosshair over Superman's head, so it certainly looks like the Suicide Squad have it out for the Justice League. Now, that's the Super Smash Melee I'd love to play out in a video game. Rocksteady does an awesome job with their Batman Arkham series. I have no doubt that this is going to be so much fun.
Yeah, I can't wait. This DC Fandom, we didn't talk about it on this. So again, shameless plug, tune into the entertainment news tomorrow. Wink, wink, nod, nod. There might be a reference to that. Not that I'm trying to save it from the show, but our show had a lot of meat on this bone for this episode. But we'll cover the DC Fandom in the next episode because it will have happened by then, I would imagine. And we don't intend to make it wait like 2 months again. There seems to be a nice little flow of entertainment stuff again.
Exactly.
So we might be able to do these a little more frequently, not as frequent as before, but a little more. And I'm excited, man. I think this DC Fandom event is going to make up where Comic-Con at home lacked.
Exactly.
I think it's going to be kind of like you'll see probably a Marvel version.
Or D23,
Yeah. Nintendo's got a big one there, surprising from what I've been following. They're about to drop something big later this month that's going to shock some people. So
interesting.
I really think it's going to be a lot of Mario-related stuff. So,
a
lot of good stuff coming out. But Rocksteady makes excellent games. Because remember, before the Rocksteady Batman games, it wasn't a real good Batman game at all.
No, not at all.
So I like this. This is a good path for the Suicide Squad. And then on top of that, you got James Gunn doing a reboot. He released the logo, which is very true to the comic book. And I'm excited. There's some good stuff coming up in the land of DC, which is not something you could typically say.
Exactly. Well, let's move on to our final story, not only on the Proton Pack podcast, but also in video game news. We talked some exciting DC video games. Now let's talk some exciting Marvel video games. PlayStation has confirmed that Spider-Man will be coming to Marvel's Avengers as a free PlayStation exclusive. Spider-Man will be released post-launch, so he won't be available when Marvel's Avengers is released on September 4th. In a new PlayStation blog post, Marvel's Avengers confirmed that Spider-Man will be added to the playable roster in early 2021 at no additional cost to anyone who owns the base game. As previously leaked, Spider-Man will be exclusive to PlayStation owners. A leaked retail listing previously seemed to indicate that Spider-Man would be an exclusive DLC character for Marvel's Avengers. Now, the retailer clarified that the listing was erroneous, but that appears to be damage control for a real leak. Marvel's Avengers previously announced the other post-launch DLC characters like Hawkeye, but unlike Spider-Man, Hawkeye will not be exclusive to any one system. Now, the beta is out right now for Marvel's Avengers for those who have pre-ordered. Neither Tony or I have, but as far as I understand, next weekend is when we can get access to it as a non-pre-order fan.
Yeah, I look forward to playing this. The more I read about it, the more awesome it just looks. There's just people that have been saying it's been great from what I've been reading. And you got to understand, like, yeah, it sucks if you have just the Xbox version and you want to play as Spider-Man. You're gonna need the PS version, and the reason is Sony has the rights to Spider-Man, and there you go. That's the big reason. I mean, certain games you can still play as Spider-Man. Luckily, like the Lego Marvel games, you were able to for some reason, or the like the Capcom ones where you can play as Spider-Man. But yeah, this one is just a way to drive for their PlayStation, so they must have struck a deal somehow, which is good. They have the rights. They have their own Spider-Man game you can only get on the PS4, and
a new one coming. Yeah, a new one coming to the PS5. But yeah, you know,
the whole reason why I have the PS4 was for MLB and the Uncharted series and
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. That was the only reason why I got that.
Well, come our next Proton Pack podcast, we will have played the beta for you guys. We'll report on that and let you know how it is. And yeah, looking forward, obviously, to the September 4th release. But in any case, you know, it looks like fun. And as I said, there's a lot more stuff coming out in this time of coronavirus for those that are video game fans.
Oh, you said the
like
word
us.
again.
I did. Let's see if it's not too far delayed.
Oh, it's delayed.
Yeah.
Coronavirus!
There you go.
Coronavirus!
Well, folks, that does it for another episode of the Proton Pack podcast. We apologize that it's been so long, but as always, we love when you guys interact, when you let us know what you think. Always be sure to subscribe and download, and we will be back sooner rather than later with a brand new episode. Tony, is there anything you want to say going out?
I just want to say thanks for everybody for tuning in. It's been a while since we've done it. The cobwebs are very much alive and well on this show. Lacey tuned in. She said, good show.
Thank you.
Feedback. Share it, you know. Hopefully the podcast gets out there. And we just want you to know that even though we do the Phoenix show daily, we still like to do this show too. And we really enjoy it. Sorry, it's a little late. So I'm a little lethargic, which sucks. You know, looking forward to the next one and get the wheels back going. So thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. And other than that,
Tony's going to push the button, and in about 10 minutes, we'll get the outro.
Yeah, exactly. Literally. Okay. Well, that was that. So everything it crapped out. Like I am pressing the button here. So this is what I work the soundboards with. Spoiler alert. And you know, usually you hit a button and
it works.
Should play, but it's not doing it. So with that being said,
folks, have a wonderful evening. It doesn't work, but you know what? It wouldn't be a Proton Pack podcast episode without a few technical difficulties. So, whoa! All right.
Whoa!
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Later, everybody.